A healthy public transportation system is key to breaking the cycle of poverty. But here in Cincinnati, Metro is facing big financial issues. So big, the chair of the board that oversees Metro says the bus system faces a, quote, death spiral in less than 2 years. Tonight, Local 12's Dwayne Pohlman continues our investigation, Childhood Poverty, Cincinnati's Crisis, by examining a bus system that many say is already broken.
It's 6 a.m. in Milford. Linda, Clark and Marie Bartley have just arrived to catch Metro's 29X downtown, something they've both done for many years.
This is our transportation into town.
But both women now worry if their bus will make it.
We hope it does, but we just have to wait and see.
Is the bus arriving today?
We don't know.
In the month of May, Marie says, 29X didn't show up 5 times. Metro confirms 3 missed trips, blaming the no-shows on a shortage of drivers.
We just stand and wait, and then hopefully the next bus 20 minutes later comes.
Today, the bus does arrive, 7 minutes late.
Our bus came today. That's a happy day.
Sometimes the buses break down. Marie documented 4 times when she and other passengers on 29X had to transfer to another bus when their bus had mechanical trouble. Metro says its record showed 2 breakdowns on Marie's route.
It happens on the way home. It happens on the way in. We had one time when we rode in, the transmission fluid went.
The lack of reliability, both women say, reflects on them and their jobs.
That seems to be a problem.
It is, especially because we get no advance notice.
Jason Dunn, the chair of the SORTA board, which runs Metro, is well aware of the issues Metro riders are now facing.
The realities are people are going to work at 7 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, taking 2-hour bus ride to get to work on time. If a bus, because of the frequency, is not there on time, they're late, which means they have an issue, correct, with their job.
Dunn says many of the problems are tied to a lack of funding, which has left Metro with an aging fleet.
We're taking money from capital to use for operating, which is why you have older buses on the street right now.
Right now, Metro has 357 buses in its fleet. 63 of those buses have rolled past their useful life of 12 years. Next year, that number of buses past their prime rises to 101. The cost to replace all those aging buses, $48.4 million. Money that Metro just doesn't have. And the situation, Dunn says, will only get worse, much worse.
You said that if we go the same way that we're going, Metro will be facing a death spiral.
Correct.
Do you mean that?
Yes, we will be at a death spiral should we not move forward with a permanent funding source.
And the death spiral begins when?
The death spiral will begin, frankly, if we don't have a funding source. 2019 is really when it really will hit.
Metro is funded in large part by a 0.3% city earnings tax that generates $53 million a year. Not nearly enough, Dunn says, who now faces deficits and the very real possibility of deep cuts.
If we continue on the path that we're doing now and not do anything with a temporary funding source, we will have to cut routes so significant that there won't be a need to have a transit system.
So Dunn and SORTA are now eyeing a Hamilton County sales tax hike of up to 1 cent.
Do you want a sales tax?
I think as the options are presented, that is probably one of the best scenarios to make sure that we're successful.
According to SORTA's own estimates, a 1 cent sales tax would infuse Metro with $149.5 million in the first year, not only fixing Metro, but modernizing it. If the sales tax happens, a plan is already in place to add new buses, new routes, and more frequent service. The choice, Dunn says, is simple.
Either sales tax or cut routes.
But a sales tax hike has big hurdles. The president of the Hamilton County Commissioners, Todd Portune, who wants a tri-state regional system, opposes the sales tax.
I think it would be disastrous, frankly, if they were to do that.
And a sales tax needs votes by SORTA's board and then by voters.
Either we vote to expand or vote to decline. I mean, those are the realities of it.
Meanwhile, Linda and Marie say Metro is already in decline.
Do you think that we're already seeing an indication that the Metro buses are in deep trouble?
I do.
So much trouble that Marie says she's now considering going back to her car.
So I have made the comment that it's time to maybe stop riding the bus.
While Metro did get Marie to her job on time this day,
You made it.
I did, with a little time to spare.
she and other passengers say that is no longer a given.
Tomorrow is a question mark.
Now, as big of a problem as those aging buses is, the shortage of drivers really is looming just as large. Metro is so short on drivers, it's offering to pay potential drivers to get their commercial licenses along with some other big bonuses. But again, all that means very little if you have old buses that are having a tough time running, Rob.
Yeah, so you got me attention with this sales tax hike. When will we know whether that's the method they will ask for?
Yeah, I'm sure I got a lot of people's attention, and the answer is real simple, very soon. SORTA's has a committee. It's called the Planning and Operations Committee. They're meeting tomorrow morning. We expect them to vote on whether they will approve a sales tax. That then goes to the entire board. That vote will be within about 8 days, and if they both approve it, then voters in Hamilton County will likely have it on the ballot as soon as by the end of this year.
All right, good story. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Rob.